All right, yes. Good evening, everyone. All right, yeah, got everybody's attention. Thank you so much for being here. We got a packed house tonight. Again, if we could only see this every other Tuesday night, this would be wonderful. So I don't know if most of you know this, but you are committed for the entire meeting, so you can't leave if you're just here to get an award. What y'all laughing at? Now, we're glad you're here. I want to welcome those who join us by live stream via YouTube. We'll go ahead and move into the agenda. We're going to start with our invocation, and tonight, as we have many ministries and faith organizations and houses of worship, we're blessed to have with us tonight Pastor John McDonald, a World and Seasons Ministries here in Apex. He's going to come and deliver the invocation. So, Pastor McDonald, if you would come and give us an invocation. Thank you. Right there. Yeah, that's good.
So honored to be with you tonight. Can we pray? I saw a great multitude of men and women, boys and girls, gathered on the hill, and they were diverse and variegated in their humanity. Indeed, they hailed from the four corners of the earth. They looked into each other's eyes, and they were not afraid. And I asked the one standing on the hill, "What is this?" And the answer came, "This is the kingdom of God, imbued by love and justice." And I asked, "Where is this?" And the one standing there said, "It already exists in the hearts of those who have courage to believe, struggle, and stand by the best." And I asked, "When is this?" And the answer came, "When we learn the simple art of loving one another." So, gracious God, we ask you even now, as we gather in these hollow halls, that, Lord, that you be with us, that, God, that as we know you by many names and you are worshiped in many houses, teach us how to love one another. And remind us as we reflect on the business of the town of Apex, in the room of the public, justice is what love looks like. Give us strength, give us courage for living these days and facing the hour and the days ahead. So, Lord, we say thank you. We thank you for all that you've done and for your many blessings towards us, Lord. So as we prepare for this council meeting, God, go before us. And God, as we ask you for all these things, Lord, look upon everyone here even now. And Lord, we'll say thank you in advance for all things. And Lord, we thank you even now for what you've already done and all things that you're about to manifest into this place this night. God, help us to be the vessels of honor that you've called us to be. And God, most of all, Lord, help us to love one another. Have us to love each other and know that we are loved by you. And the people and the children of God said, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor McDonald. If you're able and willing, please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. We'll move now to the consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine to be enacted by one motion. with the adoption of the consent agenda and without discussion. If a council member requests discussion of an item, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Are there any recommended changes to the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve as presented?
Motion to approve?
Motion Killingsworth.
Second.
Second Mahaffey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll move now to updates by Manager Vosberg. The floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's not often that the manager gets an audience this large, so I prepared a 4-page report for this evening.
Oh, boy.
Actually, I do have
You said 4 pages?
1 page, but it is longer.
Okay,
than
all
that.
right, there you go.
So I want to mention a couple of things that are going on all over the town. There's a lot happening in Apex. I'll start off, we have our housing plan update. The resident roundtables, there are 2 of those tomorrow, as a matter of fact, 4/9, 2 to 3 p.m. and 5:30 to 7 p.m., and those are both at the Apex United Methodist Church. The next, as you may know, I think I saw some of the pig snouts being passed out. We've got Pig Fest on the 11th and 12th, and that will be a change in venue this year. It'll be at Town Hall because of the work that's going on at the Saunders lot. So that's on the 11th and 12th at Town Hall. We've got next week a work session where we will present the budget. That'll be at 3:30 in board chambers. Just a word on the budget. I've talked to most of you about this. We've got some tightening to do. We've got some economic pressures, some flattening revenues. So it will be a fun time will be had by all next week as we talk about the budget. Also, on the 18th, which is Good Friday, Town Hall will be closed, Apex Operations. We've got a couple bid openings I want to mention, or bid activity. We've got the solar for our electric facility, Town Hall, or Apex Electric facility. We have the solar bid opening for that. That's this Thursday, for those of you that are following that one. We also have the Tunstall House is back out on the streets. That bid is out, and we'll come back for a bid opening on May 8th, for those of you that are following that one. We have Telecommunicators Week, and I know there's a proclamation we're going to do in a little bit, so I'll only mention it. It's April 13th through the 18th, and so that will, or 13th through the 19th, sorry. We'll have the proclamation coming on that. We are currently recruiting for all advisory boards. You can visit our website if you're interested to look up information. You can get it from the pull-down menu. You can put it in the search, just put advisory boards, and it'll talk about the process and application, and you can certainly see the clerk after the meeting to get information on how to apply for the advisory boards. All right, a big update here. This is going to take me a couple minutes. Our utility bill review update. So I know we've had several community members ask about this, as well as mayor and council members. We are making progress, and so I'm going to get a little granular on that progress so you can kind of feel that progress. So as you know, we have cycle 1 and cycle 2 within our utility billing scheme. So cycle 1, the simulation work is done. So we go through, we simulate the billing, or the third-party reviewer is doing that bill simulation. They take the simulated bill and then they compare to the bills that were actually issued by the town, and that's where the analysis and comparison occurs. So simulation, then comparison. So for cycle 1, that simulation has been completed, and they are currently in the data comparison phase this week to the simulation for cycle 1. Cycle 2, the simulation will occur next week, and then the data comparison will occur the following week for cycle 2. So we're, and a lot of things in the background happening on this for everything to stay on track, but we are a couple weeks from the simulation and comparison from being completed, and that puts a report coming to administration in about 3 weeks. Our plan from there is to get with you and brief you all on the results of that simulation and comparison. And then we will begin to communicate that with the public after that briefing with you. So long story short, we're making progress within the cycles. We're about 3 weeks away from having hopefully a finalized report that we can communicate with you individually, and then we will begin that release to the public with the information. So any questions on that? I've got Sean as my backup if the questions get too technical on this. But that's, I know people are waiting on that. There were a couple of things, not to get too into the details on this, but the extrapolation, there's nothing wrong with the data, because I know that's been said. I want to point that out. It's the process of how we pull the data out of our systems. As you may know, we have been in the process of transitioning to a new financial system, And so getting our legacy data out of that old system, we ran into a few hurdles on the format that data came out of the system and then how we process that, but we've worked through that. We've got a major hurdle that we're hoping to get through this week. If everything goes as planned, the schedule I've outlined will be our plan of action. Any questions on anything? That's all I've got for my report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vosper.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you again. We're going to move now to the first presentation tonight, special recognition of Cub Scout Pack 312. I'm actually going to punt that to Councilmember Mahaffey because he spent so much time with the Cub Scouts this evening. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. And you got to watch out. We had a council meeting before this one, and these guys are awesome. So I think they're coming for us. I know there's an election this year. You guys getting any ideas? Bring it on. We're ready. But they were terrific, and we had a meeting, and we went through it, and they all got pig noses on now, right, guys? Right. All right. Hold up the pig noses. Where are you? All right. Good to see you. So actually, there's one other thing I wanted to bring up with Cub Scout Pack 312. We actually have a special award to present tonight to this local Cub Scout pack. Pack 312 was chartered in 1974 by the Apex Lions Club and meets at the J.C. Park at the historic Scout House. The pack is part of the Cardinal District, which includes Apex, and is part of the larger Occoneechee Council that serves central North Carolina. The Cardinal District Pinewood Derby was held on March 1st and had over 200 Cubs attend across 32 packs who registered for the event. And I'm happy to say Pack 312 won the award for the fastest pack, and some members who attended are here tonight to accept their award. So congratulations, everyone.
Fill in around there. Come on over here. Come on.
Let's hold the trophy.
We're gonna get center.
All right, there we go. Oh,
There we go.
There it is.
Slide over here.
Hold on.
Everybody start centering out.
There we go. There we go.
Come on in.
Come in, guys.
Come on in. No, the trophy is bigger.
We're all gonna hold it.
All right. Can we turn for a picture?
Everybody turn.
And then we'll you guys get to keep the trophy.
Let's have some of you come this way just a little bit. We'll center out the trophies. Well,
We should have kept the trophy for
Let's
later,
get the
right?
trophy centered a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
See if we can get that. Yeah, move it.
Let's move the trophy over here. Shuffle up. Shuffle. All right, stop. All right, now. That's good.
One down a little bit in the front. More to the front.
You guys can see it, yeah.
There you go. Hey, you're not gonna get in a picture like that.
Stand up. Stand up.
Where are we up? Sorry.
All right.
I put it down so you can see your faces. You gotta see the camera.
Do you want to hold it? Maybe we'll have them look or something, or?
Exactly.
Yes. Congratulations, guys.
Good job.
Come on.
Everybody go that way. This way, guys.
Yeah, when they raise it up.
Let's give it a second, maybe.
The fire marshal will be happy with that.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I'm surprised he's not here.
No. Yeah. He's trying not to count. He's like, I don't know. That's fine. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations to those great young leaders. We'll go ahead and move now into our proclamations. And we have the next proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month 2025. And I'm honored to proclaim Child Abuse Prevention Month in Apex. And I'm gonna go ahead and announce those who's gonna receive the proclamation tonight. Danica Coleman, who's of course the GOAT, and we all know that, Town of Apex Police Department Victim Advocate. Karen Morant, Wake County Western Health and Human Services Director, and then Allison Thompson and Jeanette Witcher. So we're gonna go ahead and read the proclamation together, and starting us off tonight will be Councilwoman Killingsworth. Councilwoman.
Child Abuse Prevention Month 2025, whereas child abuse is a horrific, cowardly crime that impacts millions of children annually, with instances of it occurring all over the country, including here in Wake County, and
whereas child abuse exists in many different forms, including physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect, and the harm from these atrocities permeate throughout all aspects of a child's life, and
whereas the effects of child abuse can linger for the rest of a child's life, even into adulthood, through the intense weight of psychological and emotional trauma that often occurs, and
whereas the children of our town are our most precious gem, and it's vital that we do everything in our power to enable residents and law enforcement to help put an end to child abuse. And
Whereas the Town of Apex reminds residents that it is the law to report any instance of child abuse that they see or suspect to local authorities. And we thank the dedicated staff with Wake County Health and Human Services and Child Protective Services for all the important work they do.
Now, therefore, I, Jacques K. Gilbert, Mayor of Apex, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025, Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Town of Apex, and encourage the community to learn more about the potential signs of child abuse and do their part in protecting the children of Apex. So it is my honor to present this to you. Thank you so much for all you do in this work. And this is really good. So it's time to take a picture together. All right, very good. Another round of applause, please, for the awesome work that they do. They do so much. Thanks again. So we'll move now to the next proclamation. We have National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. And kicking us off tonight will be Council Member Mahaffey.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas the Town of Apex recognizes the invaluable contributions of its dedicated team of 14 public safety emergency telecommunicators, and
Whereas these unsung first responders serve as the vital point of contact for residents in need of emergency assistance by providing a calming presence to callers and critical information to law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel, and
whereas the Apex Police Department Emergency Communications Center receives an average of 4,000 emergency 911 calls, 56,000 non-emergency calls, and 68,000 calls for service annually, demonstrating the immense volume and complexity of their daily responsibilities, and
whereas, in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, our telecommunicators provided immense support to the western part of our state, demonstrating their passion to their job and dedication to serving beyond our local community. And
whereas the Town of Apex is grateful for our exceptional emergency telecommunicators and the tireless work they do to help keep our community safe.
Now, therefore, I, Jacques K. Gilbert, Mayor of Apex, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim April 13th through 19th, 2025, as Public Safety Telecommunicator Week in the town of Apex and encourage all residents to extend their appreciation to these heroes for the crucial service they provide to our town. I want everyone to take a look back here and look at your public servants and give them a round of applause for what they do. Yes. Thank you so much. So I would like to call up the following heroes: Emergency Communications Center Manager James Newhouse, Supervisor Sean Williams, Supervisor Kylie Rhodes, Supervisor Jerica Cole, Senior Telecommunicator Kim Wiley, Telecommunicator Harley Cicerelli, Telecommunicator Janera Cumbo, and Telecommunicator Priestley Law, and Chief Johansson. Please come up. All right. All right, let's get this photo. All right, so I'm standing in the middle.
Just scoot in as much as you can.
There you go.
More?
Okay, congratulations. All right, the final proclamation tonight is Nepal Day 2025 in Apex. And kicking off the proclamation readings tonight will be Councilmember Zigerman. Thank you, sir.
Sure. As the mayor said, this is a proclamation for Nepal Day 2025. Whereas Wake County is home to more than 6,000 Nepali families, with many of these having roots planted in the town of Apex. And
whereas the Nepal Center of North Carolina is a nonprofit organization that seeks to promote Nepali culture and traditions and has done tremendous work in the community through highway cleanups, blood donation programs, youth college preparations, and much, much more. And
whereas the town of Apex is honored to be home to many Nepali families, as they are friendly neighbors, committed community members, and excellent contributors to our local economy. And
whereas, as a blend of culture with one of Nepal's most popular sports, the town is proud to celebrate the first full year of operation of the cricket pitch at Apex JC Park this past March. And
whereas paying homage to the iconic Nepali landmark of Mount Everest and to the history of North Carolina, the motto of the Nepal Center of North Carolina is "First in Height, First in Flight," symbolizing the connections between the cultures and the unity that has been created between the communities.
Now, therefore, I, Jacques K. Gilbert, Mayor of Apex, North Carolina, do hereby proclaim Saturday, April 19th, 2025, as Nepal Day in the town of Apex, and extend my appreciation to all Nepali residents in Apex for helping make our town so special. How about a round of applause for that proclamation? To receive the proclamation, Navita Sharma, Bikash Shekya, Bikram Gautam, Daden Pandey, and Ishwar Dakal. Please come up. Another round of applause.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Nivita Sharma, and I serve as a board member at North Carolina Nepal Center of North Carolina, or NCNC. I'm honored to be here today representing the NCNC community, and it's a true honor to represent the Nepali community in all of North Carolina. This marks the second consecutive year that Apex has recognized Nepal Day on a third Saturday of April. Now, why is third Saturday of April so special? We're heading on to celebrating our new year, which is 2082. Just so that you know, we are 57 years ahead of the Georgian calendar. To mark this special occasion, we are hosting a Nepal Day parade and celebration the entire day of April 19th in Morrisville, and we would like to invite all of you to the ceremony. Expect to see vibrant traditional Nepali attire, the delicious food from Nepal, and performances that are cultural in nature. Again, why do we want to celebrate? We would like to encourage the next generation of Nepali kids. One among them is my daughter, who's in the audience. We would want to share our culture and why and where we belong. On behalf of NCNC and the Nepali community, I want to invite each and every one of you to celebrate Nepal Day as a testament to collaboration, inclusion, and diversity that the town of Apex has committed to. Thank you.
All right, we'll move now to Think Apex Awards. How about that? 2025. And of course, I would like to call up the star to start the presentation. It's Brianne. She's on the way down. Y'all give her a round of applause as she's making her strut down the aisle. It's good right here for you? Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much. Good evening. How y'all doing? So welcome. Good evening and welcome to the 2025 Think Apex Awards presentation. I am Brianne Gill, and I have the honor and the pleasure of serving as the Community Engagement Manager for the town of Apex. Our Community Engagement Division lives within our Community Development and Neighborhood Connections Department. So this was our first year managing our Think Apex Awards process, and it has been truly an honor and a pleasure just to see all of the wonderful work that all of our nominees are doing and the contributions that y'all are making to the Apex community. So let's dive in as we eagerly await our results. So the Think Apex initiative was created in 2014, and it aims to foster a strong sense of community by encouraging a local mindset throughout Apex among businesses, residents, and visitors. The Think Apex Awards recognizes outstanding local businesses, individuals, groups, nonprofits, and youth for their dedicated service to others and to the Apex community as a whole. Nominations for the awards were received through a public online application process. Winners were selected by previous Think Apex Award recipients. A few of them are here with us today, and I would like to extend a special thank you to all of them for their invaluable role in this year's selection process. So if you are here and you are part of our selection committee, would you stand, please, so we can thank you? Thank you so much. Hi, Nikki. Hi, TJ. So thank you. So tonight, former Mayor Pro Tem Ms. Dozier, our Mayor Gilbert, along with our Apex Town Council will assist with the awards presentation. So at this time, we'd like to recognize all of this year's nominees. When we call your name or the name of your organization, please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Audience, we do ask that you please hold your applause until all of the names have been announced. Thank you. So, all right, so without further ado, the nominees for the individual or group category are Brian Yates. Would you stand, please? Terry Ganley. Mark Blatchford. Dwight Sauls. Mary Lee Blatchford. Patrick Nizzi. Jeff Hastings. Olivia Scott, Cheryl Byrne, and Johnny Strickland. Would you please join me in giving them a round of applause? Thank you. You may be seated. All right, next, so the nominees for the business category are, we have Peak Fit Events, Vegan Community Kitchen, Fred Astaire Dance Studio of Apex, Positively Apex, Loon Spark, and the Southern Peak Brewery. Would you please join me and give them a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so the nominees for the nonprofit category are, we have Triple T Foundation, Apex Pop Warner, and Fiesta Christiana Mission Congregation. Would you please stand? Would y'all please help me and give y'all a round of applause? Thank you. Next, we have the nominees for the youth category, which include Jaden Allen. Jaden, are you here? Welcome. McKenna Hartman, Sanjana Reddy Thermapuram, Katrin Townsend, Sunita Singh, Clara Hellinger, and Nicholas Blatchford. Oh, okay. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. All right, you may be seated. Thank you so much. So we will now recognize the honorable mention and top thinker for each category. If your name is announced, please come forward and walk to the left of me, shake hands with all of our council members, receive your award, and pose for a quick photo with Mayor Gilbert and former Mayor Pro Tem Dozier. After your picture, please stand to the side as we will take a group photo once all of our winners have received their award. So without further ado, we will start with the individual or group category. The honorable mention in the individual or group category has extensive community involvement, spanning leadership roles in various organizations, including serving as planning board member. He serving twice on the Apex Chamber Board, including as board chair, and is actively involved in the Historical Society and serves as the chair of the Peak Fest Festival Commission since 2012. As longtime leader of Peak Fest, his works to showcase the Apex's welcomes and atmosphere. Despite being a small business owner, he actively contributes to economic development, history, and promoting Apex's peak of good living. The honorable mention in the individual or group category goes to Jeff Hastings. The top thinker in the individual or group category is being recognized for its holistic approach to fitness and mentorship, focusing on physical development, empowerment, and well-being. His inclusive coaching impacts youth athletes and individuals with unique needs, helping them thrive physically and emotionally. Parents praise his engaging programs that empower children to achieve their goals. He coaches individuals with autism and mental health challenges, creating tailored fitness programs to improve motor skills, build confidence, and promote well-being in a supportive environment. The top thinker currently serves as a youth softball coach for Apex Parks Recreation and Cultural Resources and is the founder and president of the Jacksonville Order of Beardsmen, a charity-based club. They also serve as a president and active member of the Shellback Riders Motorcycle Club, supporting veterans since 2018. The Top Thinker Award for this category is Johnny Strickland. All right, so let's keep it rolling. Next, we have the business category. The honorable mention in the business category provides events and platforms that foster networking and strengthen community ties amongst residents and businesses. The honorable mention has helped raise funds for Western Weight Crisis Ministry, Triple T Foundation for Breast Cancer, and Apex Public School Foundation. The honorable mention has served on the Apex Chamber of Commerce, served with the Apex Public School Foundation, serves on the Apex Small Business Advisory Board, and also has helped with the Apex 150th Gala Planning Committee. Our honorable mention award for the business category goes to Positively Apex.
Actually, with everybody. I can do this for your business.
Congratulations.
Alrighty, so the top thinker in the business category demonstrates a commitment to the Apex community by offering unique art disciplines like music engineering and digital animation, providing new pathways for youth's artistic and career development. The company hires top-tier instructors, including Emmy Award winners, ensuring that both children and adults receive the best education, which attracts families seeking quality arts education. Through events like art exhibits and comedy nights, the company fosters a vibrant cultural scene, enhancing Apex's appeal as a dynamic place to live and visit. This year's Top Thinker Award in the business category goes to Loon Spark. Do I have to turn it over?
And then come this way. Face me a little bit. Okay. There we go.
Thank you.
Now for the nonprofit category. The honorable mention in the nonprofit category raises awareness and advocates for breast cancer detection, specifically pushing for earlier screenings covered by medical insurance to detect triple-negative breast cancer. The organization also provides care kits to individuals undergoing chemotherapy and or radiation. The honorable mention works 20+ hours a week in addition to holding 2 jobs to cover foundation costs while actively working through fundraising efforts. The honorable mention also raises awareness through local clubs, events, and initiatives like Crafting for Cancer. The honorable mention in the nonprofit category goes to Triple T Foundation. Next, the top thinker in the nonprofit category is committed to serving marginalized communities in Apex and surrounding areas. Since its inception in 2008, the organization has prioritized the needs of others, often placing community welfare above their own interests. Through various initiatives, the organization addresses critical needs such as food security, healthcare, education, immigration services, immigrant rights advocacy, and addressing the social determinants of health. This organization exemplifies true selflessness and has significantly enhanced the well-being and cohesion of the Apex community. In 2024, the organization dedicated thousands of hours to serving the Apex community through faith-based initiatives and social advocacy. This year, the congregation has provided weekly worship services, pastoral care, and leadership development, while also expanding its impact through Fiesta Family Services. The top thinker in the nonprofit category goes to Fiesta Christiana Mission Congregation. And last but certainly not least, we have the youth category. The honorable mention in the youth category is committed to serving the Apex community by volunteering with Club Unify and Miracle League Youth as a buddy. He has also volunteered as a coach and counselor for the Apex Friendship High School soccer camp and assisted with home repairs through the Apex United Methodist Church Outreach Project. The honorable mention spends weeks of his summer working with Apex youth and helping improve the safety of homes for others in the community. Lastly, the honorable mention also organizes toy drives, participates in beautification projects in our community, and contributes over 30 hours of volunteer service each semester. The honorable mention in the youth category goes to Jaden Allen. Next, we have the top thinker for our youth category. The top thinker is the CEO and co-founder of the Purple Triangle Project. Through the Purple Triangle Project, the top thinker plans and implements community events to increase awareness of lesser-known types of dementia and fundraising. She also volunteers weekly with memory care residents by planning activities along with the management of volunteers to ensure activities are accessible and engaging. The top thinker's contributions to Apex are unique in that she has created a nonprofit to support the community at the age of 14. She also is able to contribute to our community while maintaining high academic standards and also serves as the Science National Honor Society president at her school. The top thinker also contributes to the area of STEM extensively. Her efforts to increase awareness of illnesses, that affect community members and her work with those who have the illness are amazing. She supports elementary school students to encourage and grow a love of STEM. The top thinker is also involved in the youth movement against Alzheimer's, the Health Occupation Students of America, the National Honor Society, the Key Club, and a number of additional organizations. The top thinker in the youth category goes to Sunita Singh. On behalf of the town of Apex, we would like to thank you all for coming tonight. Congratulations again to all the nominees and the winners. Let's give them another round of applause. In closing, we would like to encourage everyone here to continue to embrace and foster a local mindset by being intentional about supporting and investing in the unique qualities that make our community so special. Let's take pride in our town and in one another. Let's uplift, celebrate, and enjoy all that our town, the Apex community, has to offer. And lastly, if we could have all of the winners, the top thinkers and the honorable mentions, all the winners, our top thinkers and honorable mentions, come up for a group photo. Thank you so much, and this concludes our Think Apex Awards presentation.
Everybody's awards facing the right direction, right?
Check that.
One second.
All right, Coach, I'm going to slide it here. All right. Let me get my tip. Maybe you can.
I can't even feel the edge.
How about standing between Jeff and Coach and we're turning in like this? Like this right here?
Everybody comfortable?
Centerpiece.
I mean, that's just
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody look this way.
All right, one take. Let's go.
Thanks so much for being here.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You come into the meeting. You. Like I was nowhere to be found.
I wear most of the same every time, yeah. But
Yes.
you look great. You look great. You look great.
I got something different. I got to chat with you on that. Okay. Yeah, but it was good. It was good. Yeah.
normal now.
Yeah, back normal. All right, congratulations to all the winners. Good job, Breanne Gill. Thank you so much for putting all this together. Good job. All right. Regular meeting agenda. It's in front of you. Are there any recommended changes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Zigerman, Gant, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Move now to the public forum. This is an opportunity for community members to speak. Remember your time when you come up. We definitely want to hear from you, and we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Dawn Cozzolino, if you would come up, give your name and address as well. Thank you.
Dawn Cozzolino, 3632 Bosco Road. Good evening, Mayor Gilbert and Town Council. Tonight, I wanted to make sure that the community is aware of the Wake County Public Schools. They're going to be having public budget hearing meetings. These are all happening actually tonight in Cary and over the next week. So just some background, Superintendent Robert Taylor has proposed over a $60 million budget increase over last year's budget. And this is due to, or as he stated, was due to over the 4 new schools that are being built or in construction in progress, new school enrollment, and employee benefits. So this would be an opportunity for folks, for everyone, to be heard and provide their input on behalf of our community and our students. He didn't sugarcoat it either, and he said that hard cuts will need to be made. So understand, these budgets don't have much fixed, they're all fixed costs, there's really no discretionary. So the hard cuts are gonna come in terms of people losing jobs and other resources that won't be provided. So as I mentioned, Cary's hosting this meeting tonight, but there are 3 other meetings I hope you can join and take part in. The next meeting, and they all take place between 6:15 and 8:15 at night. April 11th at Fuquay Varina Middle, April 16th at Abbott's Creek Elementary, and that's in Raleigh, and April 23rd at Southeast Raleigh YMCA, and that's in Raleigh again. So no Apex in here, so maybe next time. Back to how this fits with the town council. So when you continue approving all growth, okay, the developers and all growth, you do, in fact, increase the town revenues, and that's an important thing to grow the town. However, the burden also increases in other areas, and I want to bring that to your attention. So those areas are traffic, congestion, and of course, yes, the schools are impacted, because we have school caps and we have school reassignments. And that's really too much disruption for kids in their development years to go through, and to the families and communities that love them. So please reconsider when you're approving developments that you're not exploding beyond the means of our roads and our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Reverend Kara Matthews.
My name is Reverend Kara Matthews. I live at 3509 Pony Soldier Drive. Would the other housing advocates who are joining me tonight please raise their hands? Okay. I'm concerned about the lack of affordable housing choices in Apex. I believe that solving the problem requires that elected officials, town staff, and community members collaborate on creative approaches to increase housing choices that are affordable for all low to moderate income households. That is, households with annual incomes of less than $30,000 and up to 80% of the area median income, which in 2024 was about $78,000 for a family of 2 and $98,000 for a family of 4. One of the gifts of serving as a pastor is being invited into the sacred cockles of people's hearts. We are never guaranteed entrance into people's stories. And so when God allows us sacred space whereby someone trusts us enough to tell their story, we know that we are on hallowed ground. I have the profound privilege of working with survivors of human trafficking and domestic violence. I am in awe of their strength, candor, and resilience. And with each day, they place one foot in front of the other and find fortitude where others might not. They deal with complex trauma, and one of the ongoing issues for them is to place that trauma in the background and not allow it to creep into their daily interactions and lives. It's not easy, as you might well imagine. I'm here tonight to share some of their stories and their plight to obtain affordable housing. Survivor A moved into a beautiful home with her daughter and had access to one of our amazing schools in Apex. Unfortunately, she became infirm with COVID during the time when many of us did, and as a result, she was not able to work for a couple of weeks, which meant that she was not receiving compensation from her employer. When she finally returned to work, she was so delinquent in her bills that she just couldn't see a way out. She had even contemplated returning to her trafficker regardless of the risk that it posed to her. Sadly, this family was evicted. The survivor is now living 40 minutes away from her child's school and makes the commute each morning and each afternoon so that her child can remain in the school. Survivor B was living unhoused for about 6 months. The survivor began working with an organization to embark upon moving into one of the apartment complexes we have in Apex. Unfortunately, the survivor had an immensely difficult day. Survivors can experience pop-up trauma anytime and any place. It can be an ordinary experience that erects a traumatic event, and it leaves them completely disassociating and unable to cope with the present reality. This caused a cessation of everything. The survivor missed work, and without a couple of days of income, the apartment moved further away from becoming a true reality, and the survivor said, "The rent is just too high, so I think I'll just stay where I am." She's now subject to being trafficked again because, of course, living unhoused makes her incredibly vulnerable. My final story for tonight is Survivor C, who is another single mom with 2 children. They were in an apartment in Apex, and it was perfect for the family, but each year the landlord would increase the rent, and it finally got to the point where they just couldn't stay there anymore. They relocated to another place, but she said it reminded her of the place where she was trafficked. So recently, she and her children relocated yet again, and the community is 45 minutes away. But she said it doesn't trigger her trauma, and the rent is affordable. In each of these cases, they wanted to be in Apex because of the quality of life, but the affordability was not plausible for them. I do hope that we as a community can work together to create affordable housing, because our community does represent some truly extraordinary opportunities for individuals who would otherwise be unseen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Matthews. didn't know we had another mayor in the house. Come on up. Mark Stolman.
Good evening, Mayor Gilbert and Town Council members. It's an honor to be here. I'm Mark Stolman. I live at 225 Flat Rail Trail in the beautiful suburb of Apex called Cary. So Morrisville kicked me out a few years ago. Been living downtown Cary for the last 4.5 years now. But before I say that, I would like to thank you all. Those proclamations you get, I love the way you did it. They were heartfelt. They meant a lot, particularly the Nepal Day. It's a good group of people, and I was always honored to help with that also. So thank you very much. And lastly, not lastly, but thank you also for the cricket pitch that you put up in JC Park. Try to get Mayor Gilbert out there to play a couple times. We'll get you out there. We'll get you hitting those boundaries before you know it. But anyway, thanks again for your service. I'm actually here tonight to talk about a little lighter subject. I'm a little humbled following the school budget discussions and affordable housing. This is maybe a little bit of a lighter subject, but I think it's pretty important for the town and its future, and that's the social district that you're contemplating. Cary's had a social district for the last 1.5 years. My neighborhood literally goes up to the boundary of it. I am at the social district line in the town of Cary. And I just wanted to set your expectations on what you may or may not expect, or what will happen when this social district goes into effect. There are probably 50 or 60 social districts in North Carolina right now. It's very popular. I don't blame you guys for looking at it. It's a lot of fun to have. It's a great selling point for the town. There's music involved when you have those things. Thank you. But cheers. The reality is, living next door to the social district, just expect a couple things. As good as your Apex citizens are, a lot of them will ignore the boundaries. They'll ignore the times. They'll bring their own drinks into your social district. So I kind of want to say, expect all those things. It's very difficult for your police department to police everyone walking outside the boundaries, to police every cup. To police every hour of the day. It's 12 hours should be enough, but believe it or not, people want to drink at 9 in the morning and at midnight, that sort of thing. So you may have a temptation, as frustrating as it is. You'll hear from your citizens. You'll hear about all these things I just mentioned. You may have the temptation just to say, the heck with the boundaries. The whole town is social district now. Drinking for all, everything's. I advise you, think against that. Don't let that be your first inclination. Work with your citizens, work with your police, try to get that enforcement. I think early enforcement would have made a difference in Cary. Get that message across early. You don't have to fine people, you don't have to be mean about it. Just tell them, you're 2 blocks from the social district, maybe step back into it, that sort of thing. Anyway, good luck with your deliberations on that. It is a lot of fun to have a social district outside your door, but with it comes a lot of responsibilities and a few crazy people. So be careful what you vote for in a couple of weeks, and hope you have very good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Mayor.
Thank you for your service in Morrisville as well.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ed. Oh, Ed Gray. Excuse me. I can't read your writing.
He's a lawyer. Like, they're just as bad as doctors,
Ed Gray, 1004 West Sterlington Place, Apex. Good evening, everyone, colleagues, mayor. I'm taking this unusual step of being on this side of the dais to make a couple of points, because I think there's 3 important things that we need to remind ourselves occasionally. The first thing is that this opportunity to communicate is something that is really important, and I know that this is something that I know all of us up there truly believe in, but we want to encourage more of this engagement. We want to encourage more folks to come to these meetings, to engage and have these conversations. It's part of our First Amendment right. It's part of our freedom of speech, and it's something that we feel very strongly about as a community. But most importantly, we, when we're sitting up there, strongly believe in your ability to exercise that right of free speech. So I know it can be frustrating for some who come to talk, and we may not respond, or we may not answer, or we may not make comment, but that's in pure deference just to those who are speaking here, engaging in that freedom of speech and making sure that we're not trampling on that freedom of speech, regardless of what that speech is. And many times that speech can be critical of us, which brings me to my second point. I know that, there's been a lot of conversations about the cyber incident that we had. And I will be the first to tell you that, I remember around July 4th when we got that call that it was happening. And I remember the leadership that was initiated by the mayor on this issue, the leadership initiated by all of you to help handle this issue. And to be clear, these are international incidents involving foreign actors that are at the purpose of trying to disrupt how we operate. And it's important to understand that. And you guys took that seriously. And I think it's important for someone to say thank you for that. Because I know that it's very difficult to remember that we're not just talking about the impact on our utility billing, and we know that that has had a severe impact on many folks. But it's also important to remember that our public safety was not impacted. Our public responders were able to respond to scenes, even though their computers were the focus of the attack. Our fire department was able to make responses and respond to accidents and people. Why? Because this town took it seriously enough to address. So I want to say thank you for those efforts, and particularly I want to thank Mayor Gilbert for his leadership on that, because these are the basic things that make towns happen. And the fact that we didn't lose lives when there was a targeted attack on us, I think is a testament as to how we were able to address it. We didn't do it perfectly. I'll be the first person to tell you that. We could have done some things better, that's right. But I will say that I think it's encouraging to know that regardless of how we handled the billing, no one has had their power turned off. Not one person. There are a lot of people who owe us money, but not one person has had their power turned off. And that brings me to my last point. It's important that although we have the right to come up here and say what we want, I do think it's really critical that those of us who are in this position keep in mind that maybe playing politics with these severe and serious issues isn't appropriate. So I want to say thank you to all of you for the hard work that you do. And I want to say thank you to all of you who are here for being here, because it's your voice that we want to hear. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you so much. All right, that closes out public forum. And we'll move now into public hearings. First one is annexation number 792. Presented tonight by Diane Ken, Planning Director. Good evening, Ms. Ken.
I saved the hard ones for myself.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So this annexation is for Janix South at 7.243 acres located on Jenks Road near 540. This is 4 lots that were approved under the state exemption, and so they are requesting annexation in order to get town utilities. Staff does recommend approval.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Ms. Ken? All right, hearing none, I'll go ahead and open up public hearing for this item. For comment, no one signed up to speak. Public hearing is closed. It's back to council for discussion or possible motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Killingsworth.
Second.
Second, Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Move now to public hearing 2.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Town Council. It's an exciting night to be here. It was a lot of fun seeing all different proclamations and such. Yes. Our first UDO amendment is actually, it's a more rare one. It's actually an applicant-driven UDO amendment request. So this one will address signs in our ordinance. The applicant East West Partners is requesting an amendment to the 8.7 sign section that would allow for projecting signs to be added to the permitted sign types in all zoning districts. And this amendment would also set the standards for that. The request comes to be able, as Apex is growing and having more mixed-use developments and things like that, to kind of give developers and property owners more options to be able to provide signage for their developments that are coming in different areas and different styles as well. This did go before your planning board on March 10th, where your planning board unanimously voted to recommend approval for this. I did want to highlight that since that meeting, there were a couple updates. During the meeting, one of your planning board members did ask a question related to how we had worded the number of signs that would be permitted under this amendment. Originally, we had it, the text stated as projecting signs shall be limited to 1 per tenant with frontage on a street, or if on a corner lot, they would be allowed 1 projecting sign per tenant per facade with street frontage. There was some concern, I think we got from the questions, that they were worried this might turn into Broadway in Nashville, where we have projecting signs all over the place. So we did amend that a little bit to provide some direction, and the wording now is the number of projecting signs shall be limited to 1 per ground floor public entrance with frontage on a street, or if on a corner lot, 1 per projecting sign per ground floor public entrance per facade with street frontage. We'll go over that again if we have any questions, but I just wanted to give you those updates. So the first part of 8.7 that we're amending, we are amending the table here that lists the permitted sign types, the conditions, the section for conditions, and then where they're permitted. You can see here that under residential uses, commercial uses, industrial uses, office institutional uses, we are recommending that this be P permitted as well. Getting into the standards, just so we're all clear on what a projecting sign is, it's something that usually extends more than 12 inches beyond the surface of the wall, and it extends out. We are recommending, along with the applicant, that we've worked closely together with the following standards. First is the projecting sign shall maintain a minimum vertical clearance of 9 feet and shall not project higher than the building height, roof line, or parapet wall. Projecting signs may only be used as an alternative to a wall sign. In no instance shall a single tenant have both the projecting sign and a wall sign on the same facade. If they're a corner lot, they can choose between which type of sign they think is best for their development, but on the same facade, we're saying that's not permitted. The maximum sign area permitted for such a sign shall be determined by the mounting height of the top of the sign as listed in this section. Here we'll go over that. Ground floor, where the recommendation is 12 square feet as the maximum sign area. Between ground floor and second story, 18 square feet. Between the second story and third story, 32 square feet. And then third story and above, 48 square feet would be the maximum sign area that's being proposed. Again, this is section D is the section that was amended, just stating that it'd be 1 projecting sign per ground floor entrance, public entrance, or if they're on a corner lot, it'd be 1 per ground floor public entrance per facade with street frontage. The next section, the outside edge should not project more than 5 feet, so that's the limit of how far the sign we want to see it projected, so we're not going to have something going too far beyond the building itself. This, much like all your other permitted signs, is subject to the following sections: for sign design, color, master sign plan requirements, sign area measurements, and then sign illumination as well. Projecting signs in compliance with the above regulations may project into air rights of a public right-of-way if approval for the encroachment is granted by the governing body. So, Town of Apex Road must be granted through an encroachment agreement with us. NCDOT, same concept. So again, there was a small amendment to the illumination standards for signs. Typically, style of internally illuminated signs shall have individually illuminated letters and logos. Such letters shall have opaque sides, and the acrylic front shall be flush with sides instead of being held on by a lip. The added section provided, however, projecting signs shall be allowed to be internally illuminated only with the use of individual face or edge-lit halo letters, logos, and design forms with a maximum 1/2 inch visible acrylic on common cabinet. And here's just some lighting examples for you here. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have the halo lit, edge lit here for like the Versace and the Bowl Food, and then the individual example for the sign face here on the right side as well. The reason for that 1/2 inch is if you do a quick Google search or look at sign options, you'll see that halo lighting can vary. If it's too big, you get this massive kind of light bleeding, and it's really not a very pleasant experience aesthetically or even effective. We think that this will allow for the most appealing and also versatile aspects to be used. So the applicant has a representative here that's here to answer any technical questions. They are a sign professional, and staff is available to answer questions as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, does the applicant want to?
Yep.
Say anything?
They're here to answer some questions, yes.
All right, very well. Any questions for?
I do have one question,
Yes,
and
sir.
I appreciate the change, the amendment with regard to number, because I watching the meeting, I was a little confused about if you can have multiple on the same floor, so I appreciate that change. The question is the applicant in agreement, or have they been coordinated with on this? So
Yes, sir, this amendment was worked out with the applicant and they are in full agreement with this new wording.
All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for comment. No one signed up to speak, so public hearing is closed. All right, any other discussion? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion Zigerman.
Second.
Second, Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. We're moving now to public hearing 3.
All right, this set of UDO amendments, there's actually 3 in this set, and I'll present the first 2 and pause for questions after each one if needed. So the first set of amendments is the changes that stemmed from your work session in December about changes to advisory boards and implementing those changes that were recommended to improve board functionality, clarify roles and responsibilities, ensure broader representation such as youth involvement, and ensure that the current advisory boards are aligned with our town's strategic goal framework. And so I'm going to go through these changes. If approved, these amendments would be effective July 1, as we do also need corresponding changes to the town code, and as well as adoption of the resident advisory board administrative policy that will have to be approved before these changes can be effective. So the changes to the planning board, the voting membership is proposed to increase from 9 to 10, and that's a result of making the Apex Historical Society member a voting member instead of a non-voting member. In addition, the proposal is to add a non-voting youth representative, and that would be as defined in the Resident Advisory Board Administrative Policy. There's lots of changes to implement those 2 changes. The next change to the planning board is to the term lengths. This amendment sets the term limit for a youth representative to be 1 year with a maximum of 2 consecutive terms. And then the maximum number of consecutive terms for planning board would be reduced from 5 to 3. And this is to be a consistent policy for all advisory boards, as you know, 2-year terms, 3 consecutive terms. And then changes for removal, instead of being listed in the UDO, those would be defined in the Resident Advisory Board Administrative Policy. Then these are just changes implementing the voting members, youth representative. Special meetings, we'd have to increase the number from 5 to 6 in order to call a special meeting. Okay, that's all for planning board. The Transit Advisory Committee is proposed to be removed from the UDO and moved solely within the town code, as they have no direct development related responsibilities. It's appropriate for that board to be in the town code only. The Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Advisory Commission, the name is proposed to change to Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. So changes in the UDO. This board is referenced in both town code and the UDO, as they do have development responsibilities related to parks and recreation dedication, land for dedication, or fee in lieu. But the changes in the UDO only represent the name change. The only change in the UDO for the Apex Environmental Advisory Board, which is also one of those boards that's in 2 places, is to increase the threshold for rezonings that must appear before the board to get a recommendation on suggested zoning conditions. That threshold would increase from 1 acre to 10 acres. The Housing Advisory Board, as you know, is to be dissolved. We have a full-time housing staff now that can make recommendations on housing policy and programs. And the rest of these changes in other sections deal with the name of the Parks and Recreation Board. Any questions on the advisory board changes? Okay. The Second Amendment is to increase the radius for notification from 300 feet to 500 feet for required neighborhood meetings and notices of neighborhood letters that are sent out. We had a resident contact us concerned that they were not included, pointed out that other communities had a wider notification area. And so in doing research among other communities in Wake County and the area, we found that to be the case. Many have increased their radiuses over time. State law, I think, is just adjacent properties only. And so this is just changes to the various sections of the UDO that reference the notification radius to represent it being 500 feet. And this is a chart here that Bruce actually did the research on and put together, showing what other communities require. And by and large, the radius is 500 feet. There are a couple that are less than what we currently have. This change would also be effective July 1st if adopted, so that we would have time to inform the development community, update our applications, et cetera. And this is just a visual representation of the change and how many more people would be noticed changing from a 300-foot to a 500-foot radius. Okay. All right, I'll let Bruce handle this last one.
All right, the final amendment before you tonight is to amend section 2.3.6 site plan, section C, to allow for linear utility infrastructure and public works projects submitted by the town or on behalf of the town to be exempt from having to submit an exempt site plan, which is the current standard, and to be able to submit site construction plans instead. The requirement does require that they hold a pre-application meeting, which is the requirement for all other types of projects. They still meet with the TRC, the Technical Review Committee, where we can provide initial reviews and provide them with information if we think that their project may encounter some difficulties or challenges and things that they must be aware of. When they go into the site construction plan, it's essentially, this is nothing too dissimilar from what some jurisdictions already do, where they do what's called a combined submittal, where they do their site construction plans and their site plans at the same time. It would still be under the full review of the Technical Review Committee, where the UDO, the site design standards and everything would be implemented, and they would be held to the highest requirements for the regulations in the town, state, and others. So here in section D, you can see we've included some new wording. We've just added infrastructure, highlighted sidewalk improvements, and then there's the text here: a linear utility infrastructure or public works project submitted on behalf or on behalf of Apex, or a bus stop project submitted by or on behalf of the town of Apex, or other public transit agencies shall not be required to receive administrative approval, which is that exempt site plan process, but may proceed to submit the site construction plans. However, a pre-application, as I mentioned, must be held, and it must follow the regulations and the requirements of section 2.26 pre-applications prior to their submittal. Additionally, under the section for site construction plans, it kind of just references back that other section, giving them the ability to do this. Again, this kind of highlights that through the approval, that TRC shall ensure that all compliance is met and all requirements shall be satisfied as typical reviews. Okay, any questions?
Thank you. Questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you so much for the presentation. All right, we'll go ahead and open up public hearing for comment. Public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance regarding various amendments to the Unified Development Ordinance?
Motion approved.
Motion approved, Gant.
Second.
Second, Ziggerman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. New business 1. Abbey Spring Affordable Housing Funding Commitment Budget Ordinance Amendment Number 10, presented tonight by Lamont Taylor, Housing Program Manager.
Good evening, Mayor Gilbert and Town Council. Can you hear me? Sorry. It sounds louder over here. Tonight I'm bringing forward a funding recommendation for the development of Abbey Spring, the Abbey Spring apartment community. The proposed development will consist of 56 units serving low-income seniors aged 55 and over. The project will be developed by Evergreen Construction Company and will be located on West William Street. Abbey Spring will consist of a mix of 1- and 2-bedroom units targeted to incomes ranging from 30 to 60% AMI. And I think I skipped this slide. Oh, sorry. You may recall previously, this project was approved for a little over $1 million in town funding. And of course, however, due to a funding gap, the project couldn't move forward as originally proposed. Evergreen was able to restructure the project, both the financing as well as the unit mix, and has submitted a 9% low-income housing tax credit application for the 2025 award cycle. Evergreen has requested funding once again from both the town and the Wake County, and Wake County staff is proposing to recommend the funding request on April 21st to their board. Here's a slide I skipped to. So Abbey Spring will consist of 56 units, a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units, targeting the incomes between 30 and 60% AMI. With your approval this evening, town funding would be provided as a grant and as a 30-year loan with 2% interest. And the units will remain affordable for a minimum of 30 years. And so with that, staff recommends that Town Council authorize a conditional commitment of $1,641,700 to the project and the associated budget transfers from available funding in the Affordable Housing Fund. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Any questions from council?
Mr. Taylor, can you explain the differences in the request to the county and the town that you showed a slide or two before this?
Yes.
How those numbers were arrived at?
The original request also included a grant to Parks and Rec fee reimbursement, and so that was included in the second request as well. And Mr. Morgan's here, but that was something that we were willing to grant before.
Oh, okay, so
it will be the
add those
form of
together, that is, okay. And
If
Wake
you add
County,
that together, you
Wake
get
County's request is the
1,000,006.
bottom one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
I guess I have a hypothetical one, if you don't mind. Is you know, this is the second time we've had a request like this from them, and maybe hypothetically, how would you evaluate if it happened a third time? And like, is there a yes or no level at which we would say, okay, well, this is not going to work out? Because
that's a good question.
It's unfortunate we have to do this again, obviously.
So I will say that this project was very challenged financially due to a lot of infrastructure and site improvements that weren't anticipated originally. And that necessitated the need, it created a gap of $4.95 million, and it necessitated the need to reduce the units down from 84 to 56. In terms of what's a reasonable range of what something should be financed at per unit, I think it's well within a reasonable range here. I came here from Raleigh a year ago, and we were doing deals at $40,000, $50,000 a unit when I was there. So I think that this is a very reasonable request.
Okay, and presumably they have more knowledge of the infrastructure needed now than maybe they did in the original request?
That is correct.
Okay, so unlikely to happen a third time.
Unlikely to happen a third time.
Great.
I like that. I know that construction costs are becoming challenging in the coming months. Importing wood, So, yeah.
All right, any other questions?
I just wanted to point something out. This came up in a work session, but this is a new request, but it's not on top of the previous request.
That is correct.
It replaces the previous request.
It replaces the previous.
So it's not like they got that previous million and now it's 1.6 more. It is an increase from that additional 1 million to 1.6. So we're providing additional, the number is 400K or whatever.
That is correct.
I'm curious who administers the loan for us. Like I've seen us do a couple loans. So we have a bank we work with.
We actually do it in-house. So we have one of these, you'll recall Stone Glen. So it has a loan with a similar structure, and so it's handled in-house. and we work with our finance team to ensure compliance.
Interesting, thank you.
All right.
I also want to point out that, we've been talking about affordable housing a lot in context of, rezoning requirements and voluntary zoning conditions to make affordable housing available, right? And what we see the development community offer us is, mostly at the 135% AMI range, right? And then I've kind of railed against that more than once, that, we're really not talking about affordable housing anymore. And so to see a development come through that focuses on the 30 to 60% of AMI range, that's where we're missing inventory, right? And so I'm in full support of the project. I would have loved to see the 84 units instead of the 56, but if I can get 84, then I'll take 56 because this is the inventory that we're sorely lacking in the town of Apex.
I would agree. And I want to add one more thing, seniors.
Seniors.
Yeah, fixed income. So if I could make the motion, I would, but I can't. So
Well, I'll make the motion.
All right, you'll make the motion?
Yes.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Zigerman. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'll just,
Go ahead.
I was gonna add to Councilmember Zigerman's comments that what excites me about this project and others like it is taking a bigger bite at the apple. We spend a lot of time at this table discussing whether a developer wants to contribute 2 or 3 units. We go over hours are spent on that. Seeing projects like this where I know the number of units is decreased, and that's, of course, I'd like to see more, but the fact that it's a bigger chunk, that we're over 50 here, and it makes a more measurable difference. Sometimes it feels like our efforts with rezonings are like a drop in the bucket compared to the need out there. This is at least several drops, maybe a cup in a bucket or something. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
Yes. I just want to say too that when we're talking about affordable housing, just having these conversations about affordable housing was difficult in 2017. We've come a long way since that point. The other thing to consider is that defining affordable housing is very individual. So it depends on each individual person's income when we're talking about housing affordability. Yes, it's wonderful that we have different ranges of incomes that we're helping to support to bring to our community, and that's great. But all ranges of incomes need to be able to find that housing that's affordable for them. So just keep that in mind when you're having these community conversations about affordable housing, especially if we're going to be talking about increasing the amount of our tax money that's going toward affordable housing. Keep that in mind.
Good point. Is your motion for both? Okay. Your second for both? Okay, for both. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you. All right. Keep going, Evergreen. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right, is there a motion to go into closed session for the closed session items listed?
Motion to go into closed
Mayor
session.
Pro Tem.
Second.
Second, again, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion
Raised
carries.
it at
We move
second.
into closed session. It was a tie. I heard Gant, he got it out just
Closer.
slightly, yeah, slightly faster. All right, we're back. We're back live in session.
Thank you.
All right. We have any other business?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to appoint me, Terry Maffey, as a voting member for Apex for the League of Municipalities election.
All right. There's a motion on the floor, second. Killingsworth, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Any other business? Hearing none. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.